show in the GildaGram Podcast with our host, Dr. Gilda Carle. Dr. Gilda, I get my news from you. I get my news from my shows. I mean, I do more shows a week than any independent podcaster out there, 30 plus shows a week. So here we go. Let's go. What are you talking
Okay, everybody's talking about Nicole Kidman and her divorce. They are separated. Now, who knows what's going to happen on every single newspaper? Here, I'll pull one up. Just give me one moment. That was the headline this morning. Eyes wide open. Nicole Kidman is devastated. She didn't want this from Keith Urban, but he's the one who's pushing for the divorce. They have property up the wazoo, $1 million this, $1 million that there. They have lots and lots of things, but something is missing. And he apparently wants the divorce. And for anybody out there who is saying, ha ha ha, look at all the money they have, and look, let me tell you something. People hurt during divorce. Whether they have money or they don't have
about?
money, people hurt. And we go through the Kubler-Ross model of the 5 steps of grieving, whether you're rich or poor, or beautiful or not so beautiful, whether you're tall or short or fat and thin, it doesn't make a difference. 5 steps to grieving. The first one is denial. And apparently they were having problems. They didn't want to deal with them. I got a call this morning from somebody who was having problems in her relationship, never wanted to deal with it. And she's having the same script again and again and again written about her marriage that she never dealt with. This is what typically goes on in every single relationship. We have these problems. We don't want to deal. We don't want to deal. We don't want to. It's too painful. The struggle of divorce. So we're in denial for a very long time.
Right.
After denial comes anger. Now we're really pissed off. What will we do with that anger? Anger,
So do you think it's both people or one?
it's always both people.
In certain ways, one might be.
One may have initiated it, but it's always two people who have created the havoc that is going to end up in a divorce. Um, Anger. I have spoken. I have done anger management workshops. I know about anger. And after I wrote Real Men Don't Go Woke, I talked about and researched about how anger is the only go-to emotion that men are allowed to use. Women, we don't want to see angry women because angry women are really ugly out there. But if you have a man and he shows his anger, for some reason, our culture thinks, oh, wow, this guy's really powerful. He is not. Because you can either act anger out, like the slap, the famous slap, Will Smith's slap that I describe in Real Men Don't Go Woke, or you act it in and corrode your body because you're so upset and you're still not getting rid of the emotion that you needed to get rid of. I always recommend talk therapy. Sometimes people need things to calm down, medication, but I always recommend talk therapy. And men tend not to talk. Men tend to hold things in. That's why the suicide rate is 4 times greater for men than it is for
So
women.
define talk therapy, because I'm gonna give you my take on talk therapy.
Oh, then why
Define.
don't you define it?
Well, talk therapy is you're gonna have to talk to a therapist or someone else about your problems and try to figure out why you did what you did and how you move on. But the problem is if you go to your past too much, it's too painful and you constantly feel like you're reliving the same cycle over and over again.
Oh, okay, stop there. What if you don't talk about it? Oh, your face gave it away. I mean, that's it, exactly. You don't talk about it, it stays within you, and then eventually your emotions are going to pop like a warm bottle of champagne, boom. And it usually happens at the wrong time, at the wrong place, with the wrong person, and for the wrong reasons. And that's what happened to Will Smith. All of a sudden,
But
out
is
of
there a way to process it and work through it
well,
without
that's what
hurting
I'm
somebody?
doing. Yes, that's what I do with all my clients. We must process this. And this is not, okay, I'll go and talk to Dr. Gilda for an hour. I'll be healed. That doesn't happen. And Dr. Gilda doesn't say, well, you're this, you're this, you're this. You have to find out for yourself through discovery. Well, through careful questioning that the therapist gives you. Well, why did you do that? Why do you think you were feeling that way? What did she do to make you feel off the wall? What did somebody else do to exacerbate your already negative feelings about blah, 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 your mother-in-law, your father-in-law, whatever? But all of these threads play into the same catastrophe that's about to happen. So let's say you're going through this grieving period. What you don't do is run out and find somebody else because that will only take all your anguish and throw it onto them. And anybody who decides that they are going to just find another person, those people, the people who get involved with people who are in the ing position, I've talked about this lots. An ing is called a gerund, Gerund, in our grammar. And people who are in the ing position are divorcing and separating and emoting and they are crying. And you know what? If you want a relationship with somebody in that boat, you need to have your head examined because that person is not going to be available for you. And if you do hook up with somebody who is in that position of getting out of a relationship or mourning a relationship, then I'm afraid to say you might look at yourself in the mirror and wonder if you're a masochist because you are not going to get any attention. And then maybe you look in the mirror and decide, I guess I don't feel I deserve enough attention.
Hmm.
My whole attitude is if you can't get the whole enchilada, don't bother with the crumbs.
All right.
So
Well,
anyway,
that's
so
that's
we have five
well, how
steps.
many we do?
We did denial, we talked about anger, and then the third step is bargaining. Oh, well, maybe if I did this, he'll do that. Maybe if she does this, he'll do this is all normal stuff.
Mhm.
Understand that you're in a position of bargaining, and that probably won't get you anywhere, but you'll feel as though you have some say in what's about to happen. The next part is really aching. That's depression. Everything settles in, and you recognize this is not a good situation, and I am going to have to do something about it. And finally, a fifth step is acceptance. And Kubler-Ross has gone through these five steps, one after another, with all of the research. And even if you get fired from a job, you go through denial, you go through anger, you go through bargaining, you go through depression, and finally you reach acceptance. But this happens in every single relationship that is splitting up. And it could be a neighbor. It could be a father who has died. It could have, every single relationship goes through this. So if you are out there, for example, people come to me for help with their projection in the public eye. They come to me and I can see something's not right. I was asked many, many, many years ago to work with Biden when he was first starting out after his wife and child were killed in a car accident.
Goodness.
And he was like this. He was like gritting his teeth. And I said to the person who came to me, I cannot work with him until he is over that grief
Hmm.
because he won't hear a word that I have to say. He is too obviously struck by all of this, and it's too painful, and I can't take him out of that. He has to come out of that himself and then come to me. So I have often said no to clients because I can't do a good enough job. And my reputation is based on my achievements. I mean, one of the first clients that I had was the head of the Health and Hospitals Corporation in New York. The head of the Health and Hospitals Corporation in New York. And we made the front cover of all the magazines and newspapers because I did too good a job in changing her image and the way she projected. And people said, "What the hell happened?" And then they complained that she was paying me too much because the hospital situation in New York was dire, and these people had not enough money, and they said, "And look, she's paying an image consultant." Suddenly I had a PhD in imaging. I mean, they took me down a peg. Thank you, media. But that's what the media does.
All right. So number four.
So number four is depression. And you have to go through it. There's no easy way to get out of depression. Oh, yeah, you can drink, smoke pot, you can do anything you want. You can become an alcoholic, you could do anything you want. You can overeat, you can do anything you want that is dysfunctional to your body. And you think for a moment you will be less depressed. The truth is, you're not, time will heal, but you also have to get in there and start working on you. Find hobbies that you hadn't done in a long time. Go back to friends that you have been missing. I mean, you just find people around you who can care about you and support you and love you.
Yep.
So there's no way around that, but you have to go through this. So, and then finally, it's acceptance. So I don't know how long Nicole Kidman and I mean the it's really horrible reading what's Keith Urban. Now, Keith Urban is an interesting character because he's been an addict. He had to go to rehab.
Right.
So he is already addicted
Hmm.
to other things to solve his problems. And one person wondered whether he has somebody on the side. It would not be unusual for an addict to look to find somebody or something to replace what they need to do inside them.
Hmm.
But, and then you ask this question, what would a supposedly healthy, well-grounded woman want with an addict? And that almost crushed their relationship. And he was in rehab for a while, but it withstood 19 years. So this is surprising. Something happened. We may not know ever what happened, but something triggered this
Yeah.
of saying no more. And everybody reaches, the rubber band gets tighter, tighter, tighter until it breaks. Everybody reaches their end somehow when things are just too stressful.
Yeah. Wow. This is great information. It makes you think in these different ways, but people, it depends on the personality of the person if they want to go through that process or not go through that process.
Which
And
process? Divorce?
no, divorce is fine. No, meaning the five stages.
Oh, you
Some people
have no
like
choice. You go through the five stages.
so some people, what if you never did go through the five and you went through three of the five?
Well, let's say you went through denial, anger, and bargaining, and you haven't hit depression, then you're not normal. You got to
But
be,
what if you hit depression and you really never talked to anybody and went through all the five stages without talking to somebody?
well, you could if you
Yeah.
could do it on your own, but that's unlikely.
That's
Women have something.
so it worked for me because of self-hypnosis. Self-hypnosis fixed me. Self-hypnosis changed who I am. And it's happened twice in the past 2 years, how self-hypnosis every night listening to books on self-hypnosis, law of attraction changes who you
Oh,
are
but you are an unusual
reprogram.
character.
Well,
You're
I
an
understand that.
unusual character. Most people will not listen to make themselves better. They will listen to cry and cry and cry and cry more deeply. But you're very unusual in that you put so much effort into growing yourself and knowing your personality as I do. There is not a thing that is a stone that is unturned. If you find knowledge under that stone, you are going to scoop it out. You are an unusual character
And
that,
I also, I would like to talk about the dangers of online AI therapy and talking to AI people. I want to talk to you about that in our next podcast when we get a chance. But yes,
okay.
because I discovered something where I think it's a complete waste of time. So we'll have a good chat on that one. All right, drgilda.com. This is great information. 5 stages. If you've not gone through them,
Elizabeth Kubler-Ross, Five Stages of Grief. If you have not gone through all these stages, you will be surprised. Those one or two stages will come and bite you in the ass when you're least expecting it. Suddenly, look, my mother died. And I thought I had recouped my feelings. I thought I was over it. And one day I am in a stretch class. I'm on the floor and my head is down by the floor and I'm doing all this stretching. All of a sudden, A House Is Not a Home came on as the music in the dance class. And I just burst into tears.
oh my
The
God.
depression came up out of nowhere because I had not really grieved well enough.
Yep. All right,
So this is
drgilda.com.
take
Yeah.
care of yourselves, everybody out there.
Take care of yourself.